Now that we've designed a 12 tooth gear, let's focus on this 17 tooth gear, which will mesh with this other gear. As you can see, what we're trying to do is make a 3D print of these two gears, the 12 tooth and the 17, and also put it up on a frame as well, like you see. So let's design both the 17 tooth gear as well as the frame. So there's the 17 tooth gear, there's a frame. So let's make this go a little bit faster this time. We have the new design here in SketchUp. We're going over here to the units, millimeters, and zero point 0.1 millimeters on the display precision. We want to erase the person. You can click over here. We're going to need a 34 sided polygons because we have 72 teeth. I'm sorry, 17 teeth. And so we need, a flat surface for the tooth and a flat surface for the gap. That's why we need 34. And you see down here, I've already typed in 34. I think it's going to default to 6, but of course you want to type in 34 and then go here. And the first size is that we need over here, as shown in the diagram, is 13.5. 13.5, enter. That's millimeters, so it's quite small. So we're going to use the zoom extents option right here, or that tool rather, and maybe orbit down, zoom back just a little bit, and then let's pan over to the left. And once we have it centered up, let's do another 34-sided polygon. Is that a circle? No, it looks like it's 34-sided. I'm going to go a little bit beyond here. I want to make sure that that vertex is on the red line. And then I'm going to type in the next dimension, which is 14.8. You saw that it resized the polygon a little bit. Doing the same thing here. It's important to get that vertex on the line. And we're going to do 16.1. As you know from the last video, the thing you're going to do next is to draw the tooth on there and then erase these outer lines. So let's get started on that. I'm going to go from this vertex to this one, and then this one back to that one. Let's see. I think this was the midpoint. I might have did that one by accident in a previous attempt, but I think I got it right this time. So it's going to be 4 lines there. Then you use your eraser tool to erase the outer ones. Then you select this outer part right here because we're going to rescale this to 53%. Using the rescale tool, holding the control key down to do a uniform motion. So holding the control key down, and then you'll notice the scale down here. You want to make it 0.53, so we want to type over whatever is there. So that looks close to what we have over there. In fact, I think it's exactly it. Okay, so what else do we need to do? We need to take all of those, make a copy of this and to make all of these teeth. So to do that, I'm going to do something a little bit different to see if it works. I'm going to erase this middle one right here. But I think we still have to leave this one here because we need to select this object right here. Um, you know what? I wonder if, let's try something else. Let's go back over here and I wonder if we can erase that also and just make a copy of the entire thing. Let's see if that's going to work. So you double click on the entire thing. And then you're going to say right click and say find center. You can see it's right over there. Now it looks like it put one out there. Is that what happened? Yeah. And I think that's because I had erased that part. So let me put this back here for a moment. Right click and say find center. I don't know why it thinks there's a center right there. That's odd. So we'll not focus on that too much. Let's just see if it's going to work. So if we go from here out to this part right here, can we make copies of this? All right, so if you hit the, oh wait, we're going to erase that. I forgot. Okay, so erase this right here. And then we're going to double click on this, and this is the one we're going to rotate around several times. Here we go, there to there. And you hit the control key once to leave a copy behind. And then you're going to go right over there to the red axis. And how many of these do we want? So we're going to say times 17. So That's Shift 8 to hit the asterisk for times and then 17. And there it is. Now, for some reason, it left the line in there. Let's see if I forgot to do that part. Yeah, it looks like it's just it only copied the piece around. Oh, that's because it's got the line already there. Okay, so much for trying to save a little bit of time. Because we copied over it several times, we're going to have these extra lines. But no worries, just erase this right here. Got to do it 17 times instead of 34 times like on the previous one. So we saved a little bit of time just by erasing that middle one. Now this is going to extrude out nicely without us having to do multiple extrudes for each tooth, for example. So what are we down to now? How about the hole that's in the center for the axis or the shaft to come through there? So now we want a circle, and we want that one to be 2.9, enter. Okay, and then we could punch that one out just like that. And then what we're going to do is make a spoke gap, which is 72 degrees. So this is a little bit, well, this is going to be new compared to the last video, a little bit different. And the reason I want to do it different is I noticed there was some taper right here. Let's try to make it more symmetric like this one. So let's give that a shot. Let's first of all draw a line between the center circle, if we can get it there, right there along the green axis if we can. Might even try along the red axis. Let's see if that works easier. So if we draw a line from here all the way out, get the pan tool back over here, all the way out to the right-hand side like that. And then we want to do is measure around 72 degrees. So for that one, we're going to need the protractor. Let's grab it here. We select here and then there, and then we're going to type in the number 72 down here. So you don't want to click in that field. You actually just want to type and notice that it's 72 degrees there. So there's the kind of the wedge that we're going to make. And you may not be able to see that this is going to be the hole just yet, but let's just trust the process here. So let's see if we can click here and then all the way out where that intersects. And then what we're going to do is erase the things that we don't need. So we don't need this construction line that's there, and we don't need those two lines that are in here. That red line's going to stay there, of course. Okay, now let's see if this will give us an offset. I'm kind of worried now that the offset is going to be from that as well. So I might have to back up. So the offset tool is right here. So there's the shape. Now if we bring it in a little bit, it looks kind of odd because I forgot to get rid of those right there. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do here, and I want you to do the same thing didn't, if you made the same mistake I did, just hit escape and just hit Control Z a bunch of times until we're back to where these lines were there. I was a little bit overly ambitious to get those lines in there. Before we do those lines, what we want to do is come back over here and let's put that circle back in place. So right here, that's going to be 2.9. We're going to draw these radial lines from right there out to here and from right here over to there. Now let's try that offset tool and see if it's going to work better. As you can see here, oh, that's a 90 degree. So I didn't do that right again. And so remember, we want to do 72 degrees. So go here, over to there, type in 72. And then we're going to draw a line from this point right here. Usually if you see the red X, that's what you're looking for right there. So we don't want it right there. We want it right on the red X. And sometimes that's difficult to see. You got to get it really close, perhaps. Let's see if the offset's going to look better this time. And if we type in 2 millimeters, it looks like that's going to be great. That's what the offset we want. We'll extrude the gear in just a moment. I did find out also that if you go over here to scenes, you can say use the top view, and it makes it a little bit easier to see sometimes. Now we need to make a copy of this around here, and we want to make 5 copies around there. That's what 72 is. It's 360 divided by 5 gives you 72. So now let's take this shape, and we want to make copies of it. So let's grab the rotate tool. So grab here, one of these corners. Notice I can fling that around like so, but I want to leave a copy behind. So as you can see down here, it says toggle a copy. So hit Control and it leaves a copy behind. So it's a click and release on that control. Now what we want to do is we want to move this 72 degrees. So down here, you can see the angles are changing. I'm going to say 72, enter. And then how many of those do we want? We want 5. So we want to say times 5. And it made all of those there. Now let's punch out all the shapes that we don't need. First of all, we don't need the lines. And also we're going to click on this, but I'll just go ahead and delete that line and that line as well. Left a line right there. And we're going to click on the circle in the center and punch it out, as well as all of these spoke gaps, I'm going to call them. So use the selection tool to select and delete. I don't really know what that's there for still. That's okay. It doesn't seem like it's harming anything. There we go. Almost kind of looks like a radioactive symbol now that I look at it. Let's go ahead and extrude this up. So use the push-pull tool. Let's go up 3 millimeters. I really should have done the other gear 3 millimeters as well. Hopefully I did that. And let's go ahead and save this as um, gear, or maybe we could say stem 3 gear and 17 tooth or 17 teeth. Depends on kind of the context in which you say that. All right, so then what we can do then is go File, Download, and use the STL file like that. We'll import it back into our software in a moment for printing. Okay, and then let's go make sure that we have the other ones. So let's go here and open up the other shape that we had. And that's the 12 tooth gear. I believe it was this one right here. There's also one right over here. Let's just see. That looks like it as well. Looks like I've made several copies of it. And we could check on the depth of this, and it looks like it's going to be 4. So I really did it too much. Let's go down to just making it 3. And we're going to go File, Save As, like this. And this time we'll say stem 3 here. And then we'll say 12 teeth for this one. And if you have a 3D printer available, then you're going to go File, download the STL file because that's the the stereolithography file, STL file that we're going to need. But we need one more part. And of course, that's going to be the frame that's going to hold this. It's going to be on the next slide over here. So let's erase the person, model info, go down to units, select millimeters, 1 place past the decimal should be good enough. Go ahead and hide that. And so we need a circle that has a radius of 2.6 for this center. I think what I'm going to do though is mark out the separation distance first. You can do it in any order. So if you click here and then go along this axis like this, and then type in 25.5, it's going to leave a mark there. Now, because we're so far away, you can't see that there's a line there, I think. So let's go ahead and zoom in, and now you see the mark is right here. So from there to there is going to be 25.5. Now, I'm not sure because it says 5 lengths down there. I'm just going to hit Control Z to make sure that I did that right. So I went out to here, and then I'm going to type in 25.5. Okay, apparently I didn't do that right. So let's go in here and make sure that we can see all of this. There, oh, it's got 2 marks now. Okay, I'm not sure why that is. Let's hit controls. Oh, that's actually the one that I wanted right there, I think. So from here to there is 25. Okay, so let's delete that one. You're going to have a much easier time than I am on this one. Just kind of made a comedy of errors, didn't I? Okay, so we want the measuring tool, the tape measuring tool. Try one more time, 25.5. If we don't get these measurements just right, then the gears will not fit together very well. Let's put a circle down at the origin. That circle is going to be 2.6 millimeters in diameter. We also want another here. These are going to represent the axes when we extrude them up into the third dimension in a moment. But let's go ahead and draw the rest of this shape. So let's go over here to our scenes and click on top view, and then hide that, zoom back a little bit. So we're going to put the big gear over here and we're going to design it so that the gears come up over the edge a little bit so you can, use your fingers on the outside of this to play with it like it's a fidget. So let's go down here to this circle, and that one's going to be a bigger one. It looks like it's going to be 13.4. Then over here, what we're going to do is 9.3. Now we have the spoke gap of 2 millimeters, but first of all, we have to maybe do tangent lines here, first of all. So we're going to approximate a tangent line. Maybe from there to there is close enough. Let's do another one. Doesn't really have a tangent tool, so I'm just approximating what the tangent looks like. Let's go ahead and erase these inner parts here because we don't see this arc and that arc on the inside. But in order to make these spokes happen, you can't just go in and say use the offset tool at this point because this is not going to give us the spokes that we need. So if we punch this out, it's just going to be an empty space. We need some spokes to hold it into place. You can use any kind of design that you want to. You can even put stars or crescent moons or any kind of thing in there to fill in the gap. But what we're going to do is just make a simple two-spoke um, construction. So we're going to start here, go all the way out to there. And then we're going to start here and go all the way out to there. It's kind of hard to see this line because the green line is on top of it. Then we're going to start here and we're going to go all the way out. I like how it shows green to show us that we're parallel to the green axis. I'm going to call that my y-axis. Now let's see if we can use the offset tool to make these inner shapes like that. Looks like it. And we want a 2 millimeter offset. So do 2 millimeters after we select the shape. We come in a little bit like that, 2 millimeters. Then over here, we come in a little bit, 2 millimeters. So that's looking really good. So we want to punch out these shapes that are in the middle, but we don't want to punch this one out here because of it's going to be the um, the uh, the axis. And I'm noticing that because I left that line right there, now the red line I think is going to be okay. But what we really need to do is erase all of this stuff in here, those two lines especially, because we want this to be a circle that we can extrude outward to make a shaft on which the gears are going to rotate. I don't think I've made the same lines over here, so I think we're okay. We do want to select that shape and punch it out. I'm hitting the delete key. Let's see if I can quickly center this up and push this off to the side and punch that out. Do we have everything? I guess maybe, but I think these lines are still here and it's going to affect our extrude. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If I orbit back over here and then I try to extrude too soon, you see that I'm only getting part of it. And that's okay. You could come up here and then do the other one, um, like this one here next. Okay, well, it's getting confused. Anyway, I'm going to hit Control Z on this one until I get it back flat again. And I'm going to erase these extra lines. There's one behind that green line, and there's two right here. So let's raise this up. I guess we can go ahead and get the pillars up first of all. So let's use push pull, and let's make that one go up 8 units because we want 3 for the frame, 3 for the gear, and a little extra on top of there So let's go 8 upwards like that, 8. And so what I'm doing here is, going um, 3 units here, 3 units there, and I put 2 extra on top so I can put some kind of C-clamp on there to make sure that the gears don't fall off. All right, I don't think we're going to do that part in the video. We're just going to make the basic frame here. And you could make the C clamps or the C connectors a little bit later. On this one, we only want to go up 3. See, I did 3 millimeters right there. And let's save it. And so let's save this one as stem 3 frame. Okay, we want to export that one also as an STL file, stereo lithography. And we can see that we have all of our items downloaded. So as our final step before 3D printing, we want to load up whatever software we're using and maybe make another plate out here. So I'm going to go onto this one and I'm going to import those 3 STL files so that I can use this to make G-code files that go out and print it out. So here we go. We're going to load up those 3 shapes, frame, 12 teeth, and 17 tooth gear. It's going to stack them on top of each other. So we can do right click and say, well, maybe it's right click out here, arrange, and that'll separate them out automatically so that they can print. You could actually try to print them all at once, but if we put this on top of there, it would actually become part of it. So you got to really leave a gap in between these if you want to do a print and place object. But what we're doing is instead is we're doing assemblies. So we're doing things like this over here, where we print out a frame, so the C clips that go here, and then a small gear that goes here and a big gear that goes there. Of course, the gears go out beyond the edges like so. So if you print them out separately, maybe like print all of one in white and then maybe change the color to, I don't know, a galaxy color or purple like that. And then you can mix and match the gear colors with the frame colors instead of having to try to do multiple colors during one print, which is a little bit more expensive and wastes a little bit of material. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video about how to make the 17 tooth gear in the frame. In our previous video, we talked about the 12 gear frame. And you could even go back and change that taper if you want to make it more like this one. And also you can use different kinds of patterns inside of this, as long as what you print out is one single object and not different shapes. As you can see in this design here, it's a heart shape. It's got a piece up here, a circle, as you can see up here at the top, that can be used for a keychain or something like that. And then it's got some gaps in here of various sizes and shapes, just to save material on the printout. It also makes for an interesting design as well. All right, I'll see you next time.